Welcome or welcome back to WatchAdvisor on YouTube. It's Alexander speaking, and on your screen you do see the new GLASHÜTTE Original Senator Chronometer in a 42mm white gold case. WatchAdvisor is the channel where the watches are the stars, and this is why you will not see me but only hear my voice. And on your screen you will always see the Senator Chronometer, the new one. It is a 42mm case, but you will learn that the case is even bigger than this because the bezel surrounding the dial is larger than the case itself, so the entire measurement is another one. So stay tuned, discover the watch. It is also a functional watch, of course. You see in a moment the central second hand has stopped. The watch is no longer running since it is a hand-wound watch. You have to wind it through the crown. There's no automatic rotor. And the reason I have been doing this is because I wanted to show you the hand on the sub dial at 12 o'clock that gives you the power reserve. I wanted to show you how it works and how it progresses once I start turning the crown, so you can see from the very beginning on how everything works. It looks simple, yeah, it's a watch showing the date, big date indication at 3 o'clock, a small second at 6 o'clock, the hour and the minute hand, and as I said, the power reserve. That's all, but what looks simple at the first glance is spectacular, and I will show you some technical features the watch has you wouldn't expect, and you will be thrilled afterwards, I'm absolutely sure. So stay tuned and enjoy our latest video where the superstar is the GLASHÜTTE Original Senator Chronometer, new in its 42mm white gold case.
Don't forget to subscribe and to hit the bell to get our latest notifications.
This is the power reserve indication with an indication in German auf und ab, meaning up and down, typically done in the look of these chronometers that they use on board of sailing ships to have the precise time on board. So up and down, the little hand is positioned there where it's written up, down, so you have to wind it, and this is what I'm going to do right now. You go in the first position of the crown. What you see here already is when you go in the first position that you can operate the hour and the minute hand, and already here I've been doing this by purpose. Can you see? Look closely, look very closely on the minute hand. It is moving in precise 1 minute steps. Why the hand is doing this and it's not smoothly gliding from 1 minute to the other, but jumping, you will also discover in the video. So another teaser, many good reasons to stay tuned until to the end. So now let's stop talking and I will start winding the watch. Look, I'm turning the crown and you can see the little hand positioned at 12 o'clock is starting to move in direction of auf, like up, or fully wound, and this is what I'm going to do. So you can now observe it when I wind the watch, and this is what you do once a day when you are wearing the watch. The power reserve is not that spectacular, but it is absolutely not a deal breaker, because winding this particular watch is absolutely fun and something you will start loving from the very first day on, because you are exactly doing what I am doing, and you can always follow the hand during the day and you have a clear indication how much power reserve there's left or not. The little white dot, some of you might have already discovered here, just indicates us that it is 10 o'clock in the morning, 10 a.m. and not 10 p.m. Once we pass 6 o'clock in the evening, the dot will turn black. I will show you this later, and then you know that it is 10 o'clock in the evening, or it would be. Let me just finish the winding process. So that's it. We have reached the position where the watch is fully wound. The hand is aligned with the word auf, up, so fully wound. I'm sure all of you have already set a watch, and the main problem you normally have if you want to do a precise setting is how to align the running second to 0 because you're waiting for your time signal. And what you have to do with the GLASHÜTTE, did you see what I have been doing? Look, once you pull out the crown in the first position, the position where you are able to set the time, the small second hand, wherever it is in that moment, will automatically go back to 60 or 0. Why is it doing this? Because you now are either looking on your smartphone or waiting for another time signal coming from any electronic device, but you want to set your watch precisely at 0, let us assume at 9 past 10. And now I think some of you already understand why the minute hand is always jumping in 1 minute steps. I will show that again, maybe some of you missed it. Look, now it started, okay? I now do want to make a setting. I will pull out the crown and watch closely, positioned at 6 o'clock, what's happening once I pull out the crown. I just have to get it with the gloves done to open up the crown. Here, have you seen? When I pull out the crown, in the moment, chuck, it jumps back to 0, and the minute hand perfectly aligns with the next full minute. There is no looking on the dial from different angles to be sure that you precisely hit 9 past 10. It automatically is there. And if you want to set the watch at 11 past 10, this is what you do. The minute hand will always advance in 1 minute steps, and you will be able, through the time signal or through your smartphone, once you push the crown in, the minute hand will start to swipe over the dial again, but perfectly aligned with the minute you wanted to set the watch. And now, if the watch wouldn't have the 0 reset feature, you would have to wait another 30 seconds until the small second hand comes to 0. Not with the GLASHÜTTE Original. You just pull out the crown, it aligns automatically, bam, and the minute hand moves on to the next full minute, and you just have to wait for the time signal, beep, 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 and once the beep comes, you start and it's done. That's all you have to do. Very, very easy. Let's say we want to set the watch to 20 past. Okay, we wait for the time signal, it comes, we pull in, and as you see, 20 past 10, precisely, the small second hand started to swipe over the dial, and now the minute hand will smoothly swipe over the minuterie, the railroad minuterie, chemin de fer, as we say in French, Eisenbahnminuterie, at the outer side of the dial, and precisely indicate the time. Very nice, isn't it? This is what makes this watch so particular and so cool and so easy to use. Now, what I have not been giving you so far are the technical data of the case, etc., etc. So let me just start. Diameter of the case is 42 millimeter. The thickness of this watch is 11.4 millimeter. The so-called, in German, Zifferblattschau or dial aperture, what you really see on the dial, this diameter from 3 to 9 or 9 to 3, wherever you want to see it, or 12 to 6, 6 to 12, it's only 36.8 millimeter, 36.8. So we have a diameter of the case of 42 millimeters, and now comes a little particularity of the watch. If I show you the watch from the side, you see that the bezel surrounding it is even larger than the case itself, and if we add the millimeters coming from that huge bezel that really gives the watch a cool look, particular look, it's a polished bezel. The diameter then is 44.2 millimeter, 44.2. I know for many of you the lug-to-lug distance is an important number. So lug-to-lug distance is 48.4 millimeter. And what is the lug-to-lug distance? That's the distance from one lug end to the other lug end, or the entire length of the watch. So 48.8. If you're interested to know if the strap is tapering or not, it is exactly from 21 in between the lugs down to 18 in the clasp, where you do see prominently engraved the GLASHÜTTE Original logo as well. And also good to know the folding clasp, as you see it here on your screen, is also made out of white gold. On your screen is the in-house developed and fully in-house manufactured hand-wound caliber 58-08, a GLASHÜTTE Original caliber with a power reserve, and this is an interesting number, with 44 hours and 40 minutes. So yeah, 44 hours and 40 minutes. I know I said it in the beginning of the video, that's not too much of power reserve. Yeah, that's true. But you saw how nice and what kind of an intimate moment it is to wind that watch. I would say that's not a flaw. In contrary, it gives you the possibility to more often wind your watch. And if you do it on a regular basis, the watch will anyhow never stop, since you have prominently on the dial a power reserve indication. The surface of the 3/4 plate, as you see it here, of the caliber 58-08 is silver plated by friction and galvanized in gray. That's exactly the same surface type as we have on the dial. So the watch on the back side looks identical to the front side or the dial side. So the material and the treatment of the material is the same. Nicely looking. We do also see here 3 gold chatons. We do see a hand engraved balance cock. What frequency? Some of you already recognized it due to the fact that the balance wheel is quite rapidly oscillating. Yet it's a 4 Hz movement, 28,800 semi-oscillations. It's not a silicone hairspring, it's a classical hairspring they are using here in this Senator Chronometer. It's really a, let's say, old school watch. GLASHÜTTE Original has access to silicone hairsprings through its owner, and the owner of GLASHÜTTE Original is the Swatch Group. If some of you don't know this, now I told you. And a Swatch Group, as we all know, has access, because it is one of the leading companies in the development of the silicone hairspring, has access to them. But here everything is done in a classical way, traditional way, old school, let's call it old school. So classical hairspring has been applied here. Nicely done, as you can see. It is just beautiful to watch the movement, isn't it? You remember what I just told you, the dial is also silver plated by friction with applied solid gold Roman numerals, and yes, they are blue coated, but they are made out of solid gold, and the hour and the minute hand are made out of steel, thermically treated and blued. So you heat the steel, and at a certain moment you stop the process, and then it will keep the blue it has achieved. So according to the historical models and the historical marine chronometers, GLASHÜTTE has been manufacturing in the past. Very nice, because I've rarely seen watches where the surface of the dial is identical to the surface of the movement. Here it is the case, and yeah, that makes the whole thing look pretty cool. And there's a little remark I have to make. It depends very much on the light that falls on the dial. If you do have the impression that the Roman numerals and the hands are either black, dark blue or blue. It needs quite some light that the blue comes out when you look at the dial. Mostly, I can tell you, when you will look on the dial, you will have the impression that, yeah, it's a very dark blue or sometimes even black. time to show you how the date is changing. What I do is, you have seen, once I pull out the crown, the second hand automatically whoops to 0, but we will now advance in 1 minute steps. As you can always see, it's always 1 minute I'm advancing. I am advancing until midnight. And what's the purpose of doing this? First of all, you have been seeing the change of color here from white to black. As I said it before, I will go back again so we can see starting at 6 o'clock. This is 10 to 6. Now you can already see a little black part of the indication coming into the little hole from the right side. Now it is completely white at 5 o'clock, and the more I turn towards 7 o'clock, it gets black, and now, as it should be, it is black because mostly the sun has set at that time. Not in summer, but at least in winter. Okay, let's approach midnight and see what happens with our Senator Chronometer. What will happen with the big date indication? Will it jump instantaneously or not? Of course it does. Did you see? I have just been reaching midnight and we saw the date jump from the 8th to the 9th. Very, very, very nicely done, I have to say. The first time you look at it, you say, oh, it's boring, there's nothing happening, there is no additional this and then no additional that, and it's not a chronograph, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's simplicity. Now look, we are supposing to set the watch at 8 past 10. The time signal approaches, beep, beep, beep. And you have seen, I pushed in the crown. The small second hand starts to swipe, and as well the minute hand does the same. So, for those of you keen to see all the other numbers, the quick date change can be done through the little push piece that is integrated here at 4 o'clock in the case. I am using my plastic pointer, so for those of you who think that I am probably scratching the watch, nope, I can't because this is plastic. I am now going to show you all the other numbers as they come along when I start advancing here. There we go, and you see double digit how it looks like, 14, 15, etc. Now we're approaching the 20th, we see 20. And we will continue. I will continue to show you what happens when you reach the 30th. There we go, the 30th, the 31st, and do we see 0, 1, only 1? What do you think? 0, 1, yes. That's how it is. We do see 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 5, 0, 6, 7, and 8, and we have come back to the initial setting of the 8. That's why I always set the watches. If you will now say, hey, that's a super cool watch, oh, I love the feature, there is nothing really disturbing the readability, perfect readability due to the high contrast of the dark blue and gray, I love it, but how waterproof is the case? 50 meters is the answer. So the watch is not supposed to be worn when you go swimming, but it is enough protected. It is 50 meters plus 25% normally, so these cases are always tested to more, of course, because they want to guarantee those 50 meters. So you can be sure the case is at least waterproof up to 60 meters, but officially 50. But tested more, and I tell you 60 is for sure possible, but it's not good for swimming. The other thing you should think about is that beautiful blue alligator strap. Once wet, I suppose it would thereafter not look as beautiful as it does actually right now. So this is probably a strap that should not get wet and not be used in water or get wet. You are safe to wash your hands, you are safe in rain, whatever conditions you will get into, but no swimming with that watch. How do you use the folding clasp? It is a butterfly folding clasp. This is it. For those now saying, hey, the guy is not protecting the watch, he should have been putting something on it. The surface of this table is plastic as well. The case is white gold and plastic cannot scratch white gold. So no risk. The only reason I'm not doing it because I like to show you a clean surface. It just looks nicer. If we would put any towel or whatsoever here, wouldn't look good, wouldn't look good. Okay, let me quickly come back to that folding clasp. Yeah, that's a butterfly folding clasp. So what you do is, first of all, you have a pin here and you do have the classical strap with some holes. So you choose your length. Let's put it in the third one. So you put the pin to the hole. You have set the clasp to its proper length. Then you close one side with a click, you close the other side, and the good idea is to go through the loops. You close it, and this is how it looks like when you are wearing it. Of course, double security to open it, so you have to press on both of the push pieces to later open it. It will not when you only press on one. So yeah, that was more or less my presentation of a really spectacular watch in terms of how cool and easy it is to set the watch. How perfect the readability is, because there's nothing disturbing. The big date indication, the panorama date as they call it, the GLASHÜTTE Original also gives you a good readability. The sapphire crystal has an anti-reflective treatment on both sides. On the back side it has an anti-reflective treatment on the inner side. This is why we have reflections. Yeah, inner side, both sides. Yeah, there are no flaws. That's a watch, in my humble opinion, that has absolutely no flaw. Maybe the only one is that there is no super luminova applied or no luminous substance that would make the watch or would give the possibility that you read the time from the watch in dark conditions. This is the only thing you can't do. But is it really a flaw? Not really, because the watch is what it is. It is a beauty. It is absolutely celebrating and honoring the look of the marine chronometers GLASHÜTTE Original has been manufacturing in its history. So everything is perfect, I would say. Price-wise, it's a white gold case, 35,500 euro, including 19% VAT. In Germany, that's the price of the watch. It's not a limited edition, so you will be able to get the watch in a GLASHÜTTE Original boutique or at a GLASHÜTTE Original retailer. Try the watch on your wrist. You will immediately start to love it because it is simply a beauty. It is understatement. The watch is completely under the radar, will not be recognized so easily. Most likely that not many will know what you are wearing, and that you're wearing 35,500 euros on your wrist. So it's understatement, it's a cool watch, and it is officially chronometer certified in Germany by the Thüringer Office of Weights and Measure. It has an official chronometer certificate coming with it. I have been testing the watch. Chronometer certificate means -4 + 6 seconds, but believe me, I've been quickly checking the watch. It is performing much better than this. So it is in between some -2 and +3 seconds. That's what I saw on my Vici electronic tester. And yeah, hats off to GLASHÜTTE Original. They have really perfectly been regulating that watch. And I think all the ones that are sold and are assembled in GLASHÜTTE do perform perfectly. Thank you guys for watching a video on WatchAdvisor on YouTube worth of watches or the stars about the new GLASHÜTTE Original Senator Chronometer in white gold. The last thing is, if you are a follower of what we are doing, do also consider to subscribe to our Instagram channel. We've just been redoing it completely, and yeah, I invite you, just subscribe to our Instagram channel. Thanks for watching. See you here back again soon. Bye bye.